Good day, ladies and gentlemen. It's a bright new day. Another day, another opportunity to make God proud. Another day, another opportunity to rise up and conquer. This one is for those of us who are going through trials and tribulations. Let me start by saying those who have their faith in God will always come out victorious, no matter the circumstances, no matter the challenges life has put before you. God did not say we will not have challenges, but He says through each challenge life throws at us, He will see us through. If and only if we believe and don't let go of His hand. Today's story time borders about how God came through for me and my wife during our time of struggle. So today's one will be how God healed my wife from stage 3 cancer. So let me start by how I met my wife. After 3 consecutive heartbreaks, while I was at the verge of giving up on love, or maybe giving up on dating or falling in love with a South African woman ever again in my life, God sent me my soulmate on the street of Witbank in Mpumalanga, here in South Africa. It was love at first sight for both of us. Surprise. Okay, that'll be a story for another day, but let me just, briefly explain how we met. I saw this lady on the street while crossing the road, and at first glance, I knew this would be my wife. That was when I shouldn't even be thinking of love. I just came out of 2 solid heartbreaks. And then when our eyes met, she felt the same thing. Though we never spoke to each other, I went home thinking, this. Finally, I've seen my wife. Funny as it may seem. She went home also and told the mom that she has found, the love of her life. Oh, the mom was happy and the sisters too. And then the mom asked if we spoke, and she said we never even talked to each other. We just passed. And then the mom was shocked. They laughed at her, but destiny would take its course no matter what. Weeks after, we didn't run into each other again until one day I found out she was working right opposite my shop. Is that a coincidence? Is that destiny? You will soon find out. Okay? Most of the time she will pass because she also found out I had a shop opposite our workplace. She will pass just to, make sure I don't forget about her or something like that. But she was too shy to even talk to me, and I tried to, make sure I was doing the right thing by talking to her. So one day, I made up my mind. I said, no. Every single day I stay without this lady, it's like me staying without my soulmate. And then I saw her passing, just outside my shop, and I called her, and said, hello, how are you? She turned around and smiled and said, "I'm fine." And I asked her, oh, she went to buy popcorn. She was always passing to buy popcorn. And I asked if she loved popcorn so much. Because I know the reason why she was always passing to buy popcorn was just to see me. And she laughed. And that was it. I will always go to her shop, her workplace, buy takeaways, and, for no reason. Just, it's funny. Anyway, 6 months after, we were married. It was a big wedding. I should say one of the biggest in Wheatbank when it comes to, to Nigerians. Oh, sorry for that. And we had plans, like they would say, how do you put that again? Anyway, we had plans for the future. We decided to start having children after wedding. And then she fell pregnant, to the glory of God. Everything seemed fine. I got her a nice shop for selling hairpiece in Middleburg, because I stay in Middleburg, but I had a shop in Wheatbank, so I used to travel every day. So now I opened our own shop in Middleburg. It was importing hairpieces from Nigeria, and it was just kind of lucrative business then. Then she fell pregnant. So we were always going for checkup. And then we skipped, I think, a month, thereabouts. When we went back to see the doctor, they did a scan and they found out the baby was not growing in size. So the doctor was worried and, decided to do some more checkups. And they found out the baby had died. Not only that, they found out she had an ectopic pregnancy, which means that the baby was growing outside of the womb. That was a very deadly situation. For a baby to grow outside of the womb. And now the baby was no more, was still in the womb, inside of her. So we had to do evacuation. It was a tough decision, but I'm not the type to cry over misfortunes. I don't dwell on that for too long, because God gives and God takes. And after the evacuation, everything seemed fine, until she started bleeding. She would bleed occasionally, and we didn't know what that was about. It got to a point, the bleeding became persistent. Now, after our marriage, I ran out of space, but I had to clear some videos to make more space. So where was I? All right, after the wedding, we decided I've always echoed savings. So luckily, we had some money saved aside. You see? And she was planning, it was in 2010, almost 20, that was 2009, going into 2010. So that was it the Olympic game then, or World Cup or whatever? So, yeah, Olympic, I suppose. That was held in South Africa, yeah. And we had a plan to at least attend the matches and, lodge in hotels and stuff like that. We had a big plan going on, but God had other plans for us. Okay. Then the bleeding wouldn't stop. And most times I would go out to work and she would be home. I never knew how severe that bleeding was until uh, she asked me to continuously buy her sanitary pads. That was scary. I would buy sanitary pads even 3 times a day. The rest of that the lady at the shops noticed and asked me what was going on. Why so many every day? So I told her, and she said, no, take this lady to hospital. You see? Luckily for me, this bleeding went on for about a month, if not more. On that fateful day, I decided to take her to. I just woke up and looked at this lady, my wife, and said, no, let me take you to see a doctor. If I hadn't done that, believe me, she would have died. That's God's perfect timing for you. On that day, I took her to the doctor. While they were checking her, believe me, that was the first time I saw the bleeding. It's like busting a balloon full of water. She just come out, just like that. Like a cup of water, you spill a cup of water. It's not just minute bleeding. The bleeding was so severe that the doctor even ran, stepped backward, and I saw my wife pass out right before my eyes. Her eyes rolled, became white, and she just like almost dead. There was no ambulance. The doctor screamed and started calling for help. I was what, if a doctor can panic like this, then it means there's a problem here. So I grabbed my wife, I carried her. She was almost naked. Ran out to the car with all the blood into my car. Straight to the general hospital in Middleburg. There, they knew that was an emergency situation. The doctors were all around, nurses. I spent the whole day. They asked me to go out. I was watching through the window. They were trying to revive her. Oh, while I was taking her on my way to the hospital, I was beating all the traffic signs. I didn't even care. That's my intention was just to get to the hospital on time. She will pass out, and then when I call her name, okay, well, when she passed out, she told me this one later. She will find herself going in a dark tunnel. She was just going. That was the soul going. And then she will hear my voice from afar and turn around and start walking back. It was too dark, but she could hear my voice. And then she would walk towards my voice and wake up again. When I turned around, I would see that her eyes are open again. Then she would go again. It was just like that until we got to the hospital. There's an emergency situation. They managed to stabilize her a little. And then they said, no, this case is too serious. They had to transfer her to Pretoria. Pretoria is about 2 hours away from us here. And they made plans for an ambulance and then took her to Pretoria. I had to drive behind them that night. All this while praying that I got there with them safely. And when we got to Pretoria, that was when they discovered that she had cancer. Stage 3. It was almost getting to her lungs, and I think it was as a result of the ectopic pregnancy or the, I don't know, ineffective cleansing they did, evacuation. I wouldn't know, but after some research, I found out, okay, ectopic pregnancy and miscarriage could easily lead to cancer, cervical cancer, so to say. When they told us she had cancer, so they had to start chemotherapy immediately. I couldn't take that. And then I know I serve a living God. So my plan was to take her to Nigeria, but how? She was already in Pretoria on admission there. She didn't have any passport. There was no, she had a passport, but she didn't have a visa to go to Nigeria. So there was nothing I could do other than to take her from there because I needed her presence to be able to get the visa. I needed her presence to get the passport. Yeah, also. So we had a plan. We had a plan that I would steal her away from the hospital, straight to Home Affairs and to Nigerian Embassy to get her passport and a visa for her in that condition that she was. So since they wouldn't discharge her at the hospital, she agreed because we always watch TB Joshua on a minor TV. We've seen the healings taking place. I've seen firsthand my own, some people close to me receiving their healings, plus the faith I have in God. So I decided to take some clothes. I went to visit her, and then I gave her a signal to meet me by the toilet. I gave her a bag with her clothes. So she sneaked into one of the toilets there, changed, and then we walked out of the hospital like that. They later showed us video cameras of how we escaped. And I took her straight to apply for passport, straight for visa and everything. While we were doing all those things, they noticed she was missing. It was a big thing. They were searching for her. Then they checked the camera to see how she escaped, and they saw me. You know, it was like a case of kidnap. But things we do for love. Luckily, we had savings, like I said, so money was not a problem. And we got to the visa, and the passport was ready. Believe me, after getting those things, the bleeding started again. It was too severe that I had to take her back to the same place and beg for them to readmit her, because there was no way she would survive now. They were very angry, but eventually, because of her situation, they had to take her back in. And one good thing about South Africa, it's not like Nigeria. Everything here is free. They have the best medical system here, no matter what sickness. I suppose the first brain or heart transplant was done in South Africa. They are second best in the world when it comes to cancer treatment. So take note of that. All right. So they took her in and started chemotherapy. Then when it was time for her to we booked the flight. When it was time, then I took her. The devil is a fighter. She came back from the hospital, she was fine, and then I had a friend to take us to the airport. When we got to the airport, the devil stepped in. It's like saying, no way. This one is mad for death. You can't save this one. The bleeding started again there. It was so severe at the airport that my wife started begging that I should take her back. But she dies at home because she didn't see herself surviving that. Better to die in our own country at home than, in a foreign country. But I believed in God so much that I thought that it's better you die seeking God, going to God for healing, than to give up on God and die back home. Whatever it takes, I'm ready to face. So we took her into the plane. So I don't want to even talk what happened inside that plane there, but we managed to get to Nigeria. We went to the church. We got there at night, and they asked us to come back the following day to apply for prayer line. So I had to look for a nearby hotel to put her there. Then when we got to the hotel, the bleeding started again. So, she was talking to me and she started to get up and just like blood everywhere. Wow, what would I do? My mom didn't know I was in Nigeria. I didn't tell anybody. So the bleeding I could see was too much, and they've not booked her into prayer line yet. I had to call a bike man, no time for ambulance, to rush her to hospital, to a private hospital. It was a big mess there. The hospital was so dirty and big contrast from what we have here in South Africa. I knew this one would only take my money, and then my wife would end up dying here. So I decided to take her away from there. After paying close to 20,000 naira, I tried to take her to a general hospital. I knew I couldn't handle this alone, so I had to call my mom. She was shocked to find out I was in Nigeria, and I explained to her, my dilemma, what I was going through. So, being the mother that she is, she left whatever she was doing and came rushing. She spent the night there with us. I was asked to go and buy pints of blood. Nothing is free in Nigeria. You have to go to a shop, a dirty shop opposite the hospital, to look for pints of blood. They gave her numerous, blood infusion. And then it was a Sunday morning. So I told the doctors I wanted to discharge my wife and to take her to hospital. They said, no, what are you saying? We are talking of transferring her from here to specialists, and you are talking of this. I said, I didn't bring her here for you to admit. I brought her here for a cause. I brought her here for spiritual healing. And you can't stop me. After much deliberation, I was made to sign, that it was on me. I said, it's fine. And I did that. I signed and went to church. My mom had to follow us. There's a video online, Emmanuel TV. I will try and find that video, 2010. Should be June, thereabouts, 2010. Took her to hospital, to the church. And luckily, I was able to book her into the prayer line. It was shown live. You know how they do on Emmanuel TV. Synagogue Church of All Nations. That is the name, just in case you find yourself in a similar situation. So when we got to the prayer line, since I was not sick, she was one with the problem. I had to be inside the church while she was on the prayer line. So I was watching her from inside the church on the screen. It was like forever, because I could see her fading away. She couldn't even keep her head up. And I told the guy behind me, that's my wife there. I was panicking. But that guy encouraged me to say, no, have faith. And then I watched my wife talking to someone beside her. And I could see that one was trying to encourage her also. Another sick woman who had a similar problem. So the woman told her, I've got something similar, maybe not so severe, but just hold on a little, God will help you. I never knew my wife was hoping to leave there because she thought she was going to die. She didn't want to die right inside the church. So as not to, how people will say, someone died inside synagogue church and whatever like that. So that woman, encouraged her to stay until I saw Wise Man Harry, one of TB Joshua's wise men, walk towards her. They were touching people, just praying like that, and then he laid his hand on my wife, and that was all. Took her hand and placed it on her womb. He held my wife's hand and placed my wife's hand on her womb and said a prayer. I said, out in Jesus' name. Just like that. I saw my wife raise her head and power came to her. So she got up and left the prayer line. That I ran out to meet her outside. When I got there, I saw her. I thought I would see her, find her sitting somewhere. She was standing. I said, how are you feeling? She said, fine. I said, okay, let's go back to the hotel. You know, I wanted to get a taxi. She said, no, we should walk. I was like, walk? You're not strong enough. My mom said, no, wait, leave her. Let's see what. See, God is working on her. So I just kept quiet. And we started walking. She was walking in front of us. My mom and I behind. We were just watching her. She had my mom's wrapper all around her because of the bleeding, just to cover the blood. Okay, we got to the hotel. My mom wanted to start cleaning the blood on the floor. She refused. She said no, she would do it. And my mom just said, wait, let's watch. She did the cleaning and everything. You know. Then they had two. They used to have two services then every Sunday. Then it was time for the second service. I decided to go to church. She dressed up. She went to take a bath and said she was going to church with me. It's like, of course, it is a miracle. You can't explain it. She followed me to church. Second service, 2 hours after, looking different, well dressed, beautiful, like the Connie that I got married to. When we got to church, the church workers recognized me, and then they asked me how she was now, how is my wife, your wife? I said, she's fine, she's the one here. They didn't believe. She's the one, she's here, standing beside me. They didn't believe. Everything is televised. You can check. I'll possibly put the link so you can watch it live. And that was all. We go back to South Africa, not bleeding. Till today, no bleeding, no cancer. We went for checkups. We did another checkup not too long ago. Nothing. Cancer is gone. We just want touch from God. So why am I saying this? What is it you are going through in life? Have you tried all the efforts you think are effective? Have they failed you? If yes, I know of someone who can never fail you, because he's the creator of everything good and everything seemingly bad. That sickness that you think is bad was created by somebody, by God. His name is Jesus Christ. So how can that sickness be bigger than him? He created it. The same God that created healing created sickness. He says, I have put before you this day good and evil, and I urge you to choose good. He is the one that put both good and evil before us. He is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the mighty creator, the healer. Because by his stripes, we have been made whole. By his stripes, we have been healed. So don't give up. Whatever it is you are going through, go to that same God. He's just a confession away from you. Just accept him, bring him with his glory into your life by just glorifying him, and stop carrying your burden by yourself. Hand it to him. Lay your burden at the feet of God, and he will see you through. He did it for me. My wife is well known all over social media because every single day I celebrate her life. Every single day I appreciate God by cherishing my wife. I could have lost her. There was a point in time we even said our goodbyes. When I thought she wouldn't make it, we said our goodbyes. But God stepped in. Mercy said no. And she had a second chance. And from nowhere, she had the courage that she could beat this sickness, this disease. And she promised me, she asked me to promise her that I will wait and have faith. I will stand by her, that she will beat this, because she was scared of losing me also. I told her, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. This is my last bus stop. This is my final bus stop. And so it is. I knew there was no, even the doctors gave up here. They were talking of taking my wife to hospice. Hospice is where people go to die, suspend their final days. Such a young lady going to hospice. No, it's not done. So I took it to God. I took the matter to God because He's the highest judge. And He came through. Because the devil will try to stop you, to discourage you, like the bleeding started. Or about the attack while we're in the taxi going to church. A madman came from nowhere. You were fighting, took up a big stone, wanted to hit my wife. What concerned my wife? While the taxi was moving, she was running after the taxi. It was scary. I had to cover her, her head. I was ready to take whatever it was throwing at us. Those are signs that the devil will always want to stop you. So don't give up. Suicide will take you straight to hell. Then the devil will be victorious. We are only here. This is a testing ground. It's what we take home that matters, or we take back to God. Don't kill yourself because of tribulations and trials. Go to God instead. He will see you through. Be strong in faith, because those who God has given burdens to, He makes them fit for it. Don't disappoint God by giving up. Don't fail Him by allowing your situation to conquer you. Think about it. There is a God waiting for you to trust Him so He can manifest Himself and show you how powerful He is, how loving and caring He is in your life. His name is Jesus. Thank you very much.